A cold breeze hits your skin, and suddenly your arm looks like this. Tiny bumps everywhere, and every hair standing straight up. It happens during a scary movie too, and sometimes during your favorite song. Three completely different situations. The exact same physical reaction. So what's actually going on under your skin when this happens? The real answer traces back to ancestors who were a lot hairier than you. And it involves a reflex your body still runs, even though it barely does anything for you anymore. Let's get into it. Let's start with what's physically happening on your skin. Each hair on your body sits inside a tiny follicle attached to a microscopic muscle. That muscle is called the arrector pili muscle. When it contracts, it pulls the hair follicle upright, which tugs the skin around it into a small bump. Multiply that by thousands of hairs at once, and you get the full goosebump effect across your skin. It's a genuinely coordinated, whole-body muscular reflex, not just a random skin reaction. So why does this reflex even exist? The answer starts with fur, not skin. In animals with thick fur, raising each hair increases the amount of air trapped close to the skin. Trapped air acts as insulation, helping hold body heat in during cold weather. You can see this today in animals like cats and dogs fluffing up their fur when they're cold. For our early ancestors, who were covered in much thicker hair, this same reflex genuinely helped conserve warmth. Here's the twist. Modern humans have nowhere near enough body hair for this to work the same way. Our hair is short, thin, and spread out. Raising it traps almost no meaningful layer of air. So when you get goosebumps from cold today, it doesn't actually warm you up in any real way. It's a reflex left over from a body plan we don't really have anymore. Scientists call traits like this vestigial. Not actively harmful, just no longer serving their original job. Wisdom teeth and certain reflexes in newborns are other well-known examples of the same idea. Except here's a genuinely surprising twist from very recent research. In 2020, Harvard researchers discovered that the arrector pili muscle does more than just raise hair. It turns out this tiny muscle sits directly connected to hair follicle stem cells underneath the skin. When the muscle contracts, it appears to help activate those stem cells, encouraging new hair growth. Researchers even found that people with certain types of hair loss often lack this muscle in affected areas. So this supposedly pointless reflex might actually still be quietly supporting healthy hair growth today. Sometimes an old, seemingly useless trait turns out to be doing more than anyone originally realized. There's likely a second evolutionary reason too, separate from simple warmth. In many furry animals, raised hair also makes the body look noticeably larger and more intimidating. A frightened or threatened animal puffing up its fur can genuinely appear bigger to a predator or rival. That's a real, useful defensive trick if you're a small furry creature trying to avoid a fight. Humans likely inherited this same fear-triggered reflex, even though it doesn't make us look bigger at all. It's the same ancient wiring, just running on a body that lost the fur that used to make it useful. This actually explains why goosebumps show up during both cold and fear. It's the same trigger system. That's the same system responsible for your fight or flight response during stress or danger. Cold temperature, sudden fear, and intense excitement all activate this same underlying pathway. Your brain doesn't really distinguish between I'm cold and I'm scared at the level of this specific reflex. Both situations trigger a burst of adrenaline-related signaling that reaches those tiny muscles almost instantly. For cold specifically, it starts with temperature sensors built directly into your skin. Those sensors send signals to your hypothalamus, a brain region that constantly monitors body temperature. If your hypothalamus registers a temperature drop, it activates the sympathetic nervous system in response. That activation eventually reaches the arrector pili muscles, and the goosebumps appear within moments. Now let's talk about that third trigger. Why does music sometimes give you chills too? This specific phenomenon actually has its own scientific name, Frisson. In a landmark 2001 study, researchers scanned people's brains while they listened to music that gave them chills. They found those chill moments activated brain regions linked to reward and emotion, similar to other intense pleasures. A follow-up study in 2011 went a step further, directly confirming dopamine released during those peak musical moments. Dopamine is the same reward chemical involved in food, connection, and other deeply pleasurable experiences. So musical chills aren't just a metaphor. Your brain is running real reward chemistry during that exact moment. Here's a genuinely interesting detail from this research. Sad, emotional music tends to trigger chills more than happy music. Researchers have found that sad or bittersweet songs can actually evoke a strange, pleasurable emotional mix. It may be part of why people sometimes deliberately seek out sad music during emotional moments. Art seems to let us experience difficult emotions in a way that feels rewarding instead of purely painful. Not everyone gets chills from music equally often, and researchers have actually studied why. One well-cited study found a personality trait called openness to experience correlates with how often people feel frisson. People who score higher on openness tend to engage more deeply and emotionally with art and music in general. That deeper engagement appears to make the reward-related brain response, and the resulting chills, more likely to happen. So if you're the type who gets chills easily during music, that might genuinely be a personality trait, not just chance. Quick detour. Humans obviously aren't the only animals with this reflex. Porcupines raise their quills using this exact same type of muscle response. Many primates puff up their fur during confrontations, just like smaller mammals do. The underlying muscle mechanism is remarkably similar across a huge range of furry species. Humans are really just running a leftover version of an extremely old, widely shared reflex. Quick pause before we continue. Take a guess. Do you think you could train yourself to get goosebumps on command? Some people genuinely report being able to do this, usually by vividly recalling an emotional memory. It's not fully understood why some people can do this more reliably than others. Let's clear up a few common myths before we wrap up. Myth 1. Goosebumps still meaningfully warm you up today, just like they did for hairy ancestors. Not really true anymore. With so little body hair, the insulation effect is essentially negligible. Myth 2. Goosebumps only happen in response to cold temperatures. Also false, as we covered. Fear, awe, and music can trigger the exact same reflex. Myth 3. Only humans and a few closely related animals experience this kind of reflex. Not accurate. It's an extremely widespread reflex across many different furry mammal species. Myth 4. Getting chills from music means a song is objectively, universally good. Not quite. Chill response is deeply personal, shaped by memory, mood, and individual musical taste. Myth 5. Goosebumps are completely useless and serve no purpose in modern humans at all. As we just covered, that's likely outdated. The hair growth stem cell connection suggests otherwise. Myth 6. Goosebumps and shivering are essentially the same physical reflex. Not accurate. Shivering involves rapid muscle contractions generating heat, a completely separate mechanism entirely. Let's wrap up with a few fun extra facts. The scientific term for goosebumps is cutis anserina, which literally translates to goose skin. That's exactly where the everyday name goosebumps actually comes from. Certain animals, like porcupines and hedgehogs, rely on this reflex constantly as a primary defense mechanism. Even some birds fluff their feathers using a very similar underlying muscular mechanism for warmth. So the next time chills run down your arms, you're feeling a reflex shared across an enormous range of species. One more fact before the recap. Certain skin conditions can affect how easily someone gets goosebumps. People with some nerve or muscle conditions may experience the reflex less noticeably than others. Doctors occasionally even use piloerection response as a small diagnostic clue during certain nerve examinations. It's a good reminder that even a tiny, everyday reflex can carry real medical information. Okay, let's bring this all together. Goosebumps come from tiny arrector pili muscles pulling your hair follicles upright. The reflex originally helped furry ancestors trap warmth and appear larger during threats. Modern humans kept the reflex, even though sparse body hair means it barely does anything useful anymore. The same sympathetic nervous system pathway links cold, fear, and even musical chills together. Music-induced chills involve real, measurable reward chemistry, including confirmed dopamine release in the brain. And whether or not you get chills easily may genuinely connect to your own personality traits. All from one small, ancient reflex that still quietly runs every time you're cold, scared, or moved. If this answered a question you never knew you had, that's exactly what this channel is about. So if you enjoyed this, Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. It genuinely helps this channel grow, and it takes about 2 seconds. Drop a comment and tell me which part surprised you the most. Was it the dopamine research? The sad music twist? Let me know. And if you like this video, go ahead and tap that like button. It's a small click that genuinely helps this channel keep growing. There are hundreds of everyday questions just like this one waiting to be explored. Things you felt your entire life, but never actually questioned. That's what this channel is all about. Toggling your curiosity on, one question at a time. One more thing before you go. Tap that notification bell too, so you actually see it when the next video drops. Next time, we're tackling why flamingos stand on one leg for hours without falling over. It's a surprisingly clever energy-saving trick, and you will not guess the mechanism. I'll see you in the next one.